Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the sports stuff video. Today, we're talking about the Kansas City Chiefs and their offseason plan to go back and win another Super Bowl next year to really make Patrick Mahomes, his career, be one of the best starts ever in the NFL. And I do feel like we're getting towards the end of the line of both Travis Kelce and Andy Reid. So maybe their next Super Bowl could be the last for those two pairing. But if you guys do enjoy, please like, comment, subscribe. Let's get into the offseason plan to make the Kansas City Chiefs better than they were last year, obviously. Heading into the offseason, they have negative $3 million in cap space, which honestly, not the worst in situation for a team that, last 7 years has been the Super Bowl every year, it feels like. At negative $3 million in cuts and trades, there is currently no one I want to cut or trade on this roster. So we're going to open up that cap space by doing some restructures. So first restructure is going to be Patrick Mahomes. Obviously, he's our franchise quarterback for the, until he retires. We can kick that can down the line as much as we want. $39 million opens up in restructures. And then Chris Jones, same thing. He's going to be our D tackle until he retires. We're going to restructure him for $21 million, opening up $60 million in cap space just from restructuring our two cornerstones of our franchise. Next up, we have re-signings. With the re-signings, we have $56 million after opening up that $60 million with the restructures. Feeling good about it, heading into the re-signings. A couple of guys I want to re-sign, and let's do it. Let's make sure we can bring back the guys that I think can truly help this team go back to the promised land. First off, they've already franchise tagged Trey Smith. So Trey Smith was going to be re-signing him to a new contract. This last year, he had 79 PFF grade, 71 pass blocking, 81 run blocking, and 0 sacks. He's one of the best offensive linemen, period, in the NFL. I remember when he came out 4 or 5 years ago, the reason he fell to the 6th round was because of injuries. Apparently he had some kind of heart defect, but obviously has not hindered him one step at all. It was franchise tagged on a $25 million cap hit this year. So actually re-signing him to a contract extension can lower that cap hit and open another $20 million of cap space this season. So we're going to lower his cap hit from 20 million to 5.9 million, and that from 25 million to 5.9 million, open up 20 million more in cap space. But overall, I'll give him a 4-year, $92.5 million deal, 67 million guaranteed on 72% guaranteed. So it just beats out Landon Dickerson, who last year signed the biggest contract for a guard. Trey Smith is now the number one guard in the NFL when it comes to money, averaging out to about 25 million a year. 24.5 million a year. Sorry. So again, helps him. That's something that you can definitely add to your resume, that you were the number one paid guard at one point. And again, multi-time Super Bowl winner. The only reason he's fell is because of injury. And the Chiefs, they already franchise tagged him. He's not going anywhere. They're gonna sign him to this massive deal. And again, it saves them 20 million in cap space to sign him to a massive long-term deal. Who would not do that? Like, what dummy wouldn't do that? Obviously. Then when it comes to Nick Bolton, I want to re-sign Nick Bolton as well. Nick Bolton last year had 81 tackles, 4 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 44 run stops, and 13 pressures. Since being drafted, he's been a starting linebacker. When it was Willie Gay and Nick Bolton that 1 year, I actually thought it was one of the best linebacker duos. And of course, Willie Gay left, and it hasn't really been the same. But Nick Bolton, he's been their starting linebacker since being drafted. He's currently the top middle linebacker available in this class, so I don't want to let him walk at all. There are rumors that the Cowboys are going to be going after him pretty efficiently, but I'm saying no. Cowboys, back off. He's staying before free agency even opens. Defense was the reason this team went to the Super Bowl, and Nick Bolton, with his run-stopping ability and his ability to create pressures from that middle linebacker position of blitzing, I want him on this team long-term. So I give him a 4-year, $45.5 million deal, $31 million guaranteed, at 68% guaranteed. So we're going to lock up our star middle linebacker. We have Drew Tranquil on the right side. We have Leo Chanel on the left side. Knowing Leo Chanel's going to have to get a deal eventually, I want to get Nick Bolton under contract for the long term, and next year we'll figure out what we want to do with Leo Chanel. But I think this is very good for what the Chiefs want to do. They get him for an under the market rate, because from all the readings I've read, is that when you extend your own guys, you get them at 60% what they would get in free agency. So not only does it help the player get more guaranteed money up front, but it helps the team not only keep their guys, but spend less money than they would have to if they're going to get another free agent. So you save 40% when you extend your own guys. I think Nick Bolton is the exact guy you want to extend in the middle of this defense. Then the last re-sign I'm going to be doing is Justin Reid. Justin Reid last year had 70 tackles, 2 interceptions, 32 run stops, and 3 pass breakups. He's a true leader of the secondary. You can say what you want about Trent McDuffie, but Justin Reid is the veteran voice in the secondary. He's an elite run-stopping free safety that doesn't let big plays happen behind him either. He can play strong safety or free safety. He has versatility. and reports say that the Chiefs are actively trying to re-sign him. And the last few days, it's gotten closer and closer. So I think a deal will get done right before free agency opens up. And I decided to give him a 3-year, $48.5 million deal, $38.5 million guaranteed at 49%. So it's not super guaranteed, but it's very front loaded. That number is no way that's right. There's no way that's right. That's gotta be like in the 68 to 72% range. So I think it's mistyped. I think it's supposed to be a 6 maybe. Maybe it's at 69% guaranteed, because that is not right when I'm looking at those numbers. But I gave him a $48.5 million deal, $38.5 million guaranteed. You know, that make sure that you have a guy who can cap off this defense, who can be that elite playmaker in the safety room. Because, you know, you have Jaden Hicks from Washington State. You have Byron Cook as well. Those are okay safety options, but Justin Reid's one of the best safeties in the NFL. I'm not letting this guy walk if I don't have to. So I'm going to re-sign Justin Reid and know that I have a guy that I can, you know, lean on for the future. Then entered free agency, you got positive $50 million. There is still a few major holes on this offense and this defense. So, you know, we are going to spend some money, and it's going to hurt, but we have to do it. So, entered free agency, I'm going to first sign Levi Onwuzurike from the Detroit Lions. Last year, he had 21 tackles, 3 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 18 run stops, and 45 pressures. He's a good do-it-all linebacker. You know, he really started playing more and more as injuries mounted. So Levi Onwuzurike, you know, he's not just some backup that's going to get starter minutes. He was a starter last year due to injuries, and he really proved that he belonged in a starting role. He can come to a Super Bowl contender, start opposite of Chris Jones. So I expect Levi Onwuzurike after year 1 to be on a bargain contract, because opposite of Chris Jones, if he's have a good D tackle, they should feast. He turned into a great pass rusher. He's been a great run stopper since being drafted. So the fact you can only get him on a 3-year, $22 million deal, $16 million guaranteed on 72% guaranteed, that's gonna be a steal after year 1. Because if he can keep up this rate of play next to Chris Jones, he'll only get more statistically better. And I expect that after, you know, joining Chris Jones, they're gonna get statistically better than you were without Chris Jones. You know what I mean? I think that's pretty obvious thing to say for Levi Onwuzurike. Then for Cam Robinson, I'm going to be signing Cam Robinson to play left tackle for us. Last year, had a 65 PFF grade, 70 pass blocking, 60 run blocking. There's been no buzz that Cam Robinson is going back to the Vikings, so I do believe he's going to hit free agency. The Joe Thuney trade created a hole at left guard, and from the reports I've seen from Chiefs beat writers, is that Kingsley Suamatia, who they drafted last year to be their left tackle of the future, is actually moving into guard, which is interesting. You know, maybe he's not as athletic as they were hoping, but they said that Kingsley is going to start at guard next year. So, you know, because of that, I don't want Wanya Morris starting at left tackle. So for Cam Robinson, I am happy to sign him to be the left tackle, at least for this year. You know, if he does play well, you can play him on a full 2-year contract. But at minimum, you get him on a $14 million deal this year. You can cut him after 1 year if you draft someone you believe in, and you can develop after year 1. But he's a pretty good pass blocker. I think his run blocking grade was a little bad because of how poor the Vikings run game was overall. But I do think Cam Robinson is a pretty solid run blocker. But again, his thing isn't pass blocking, so we got to sign him to be our pass blocking left tackle. I gave him a 2-year, $28.5 million deal, $20 million guaranteed on 70% guaranteed. Again, if he's not really the guy you wanted after year 1, you're able to cut him and move on. You already have Juwan Taylor at right tackle on a long-term deal. So I don't want to put too much money at tackle. You know, I want Cam Robinson for 1 year because we open up a lot of cap space with the restructures. Let's get him on a 1-year deal. Again, if he plays really well, you don't have to worry about him walking. You have him on for a 2nd year. But he solves left tackle, at least for this upcoming season. Then I am going to re-sign Marquise Hollywood Brown. I forgot to put him in the re-signing screen, and I already took screenshots of the cap space. So we're going to go and re-sign Marquise Hollywood Brown. Last year had 9 receptions, 95 yards, and 0 touchdowns. He only played in the final 2 games due to injury. So I do think 2 games of the regular season, by the way. He only played in the final 2 games of the regular season due to injury. In both games, he had 4 receptions for 45 yards. If you span it out to a full season, that is 68 receptions, 765 yards, which is pretty solid for Marquise Hollywood Brown. You know, again, I think it would probably be even more if the injury wasn't there, because you would, you know, be able to be more explosive than he was when he did come back. But imagine his average per reception will increase as he's healthier. And I do want to bring him back for a second chance. You know, you have Rashee Rice, who's going to be returning from a torn ACL. You have Xavier Worthy with the off-the-field issues that are happening right now. We'll see what happens with him. But I think Marquise Brown could come in and be that field stretcher in case anything else happens on this wide receiver core. He can come in, play for you, and play really well. 1 year, $10 million is my expectation to get Marquise Hollywood Brown. Then entering the draft, you have positive $21 million. You know, obviously you could go out and sign another player, but I want to roll over as much cap as I can. And we still got to sign the draft class And I'm about to, guys, I really like this draft class. It's probably not one of my top 5, but I think it's a really good draft class. But 21 million, you still have money to go and sign a few fringe roster guys, but I decided to roll it over. And here's what I do with the draft class. So, as you can see, we do a trade up from number 31 up to number 18. Chiefs have been super aggressive in the last few years, trading up in the first round multiple times, and I think grabbing a solution at left tackle has to be the number 1 priority. So I do have an extra third from Minnesota for whatever reason. I don't remember what that trade was for. No, from Tennessee. It was from Tennessee. So maybe it was the DeAndre Hopkins trade, but I really don't remember what it was. Oh, no. It was the L'Jarius Sneed trade. So I have an extra third from the L'Jarius Sneed trade. So I'm going to use that with number 31 and a future 4th to trade up from 31 to 18 and 212. And I'm going to draft Kelvin Banks Jr. out of Texas. To me, he is tackle number 2 in this class. I think he can move in the guard if needed because of his short arms. But because of his shorter arms, that is going to be, a little bit of a risk, but he's super athletic. I think this offensive line has been able to develop guys into really good starters. And I think if they can get their hands on an athletic tackle like Kelvin Banks, we're not even going to think about how small his arms are. One of the few teams I think can develop anyone to a good starter. And I think it doesn't matter how small your arms are. What does the film say? And the film says Kelvin Banks is a good left tackle, and under the Chiefs' watch, I think can turn into a great left tackle. Then at number 63, grabbing Elijah Arroyo from Miami. Elijah, he's a receiving tight end. He's 6'4", 245. I see him as a future replacement of Travis Kelce. He's a pure route runner, great yak ability guy. Whether it's in line or at slot, he can run any route you need him to. He has the ability to run block as well. But again, his thing is receiving. I think he actually has the ability to turn into a top 10 end in this league. Every year he's been healthy. He has over 600 yards, almost 7 touchdowns. I think Elijah Arroyo is a perfect fit for this offense in the second round to eventually take over for Travis Kelce. And I think that is something that's super important is, hey, you have these guys that are retiring soon. Let's draft the replacement and let the guys that you're replacing help coach up these young guys and, show them how to play in this scheme effectively to a Hall of Fame type of level. I think that is something that is super important, and I think that would really benefit Elijah Arroyo. Then at number 95, grabbing Jeffrey Baza from Oregon. Baza is a great tackler. He's a former strong safety that moved to linebacker, added some weight, so he's athletic as hell. He's a great run defender as well. I do see him as the eventual Drew Tranquil replacement at weak side linebacker. He's going to be a good coverage linebacker in the future. He's very athletic, very fast, great sideline speed, very powerful as well. He on his I'm expecting his pro day to go really well, and he's going to probably rise up to the second round. But Jeffrey Baza, if you can get him at 95, I see as a great steal, as a dude that I think genuinely very soon could be a great role player. Then at number 132, grabbing Zy Alexander from LSU. Zy Alexander, I think he has every ability to be a cornerback 2 for a team. He's great in zone coverage. He has 14 career interceptions, a really good press man corner. Even though he excels mostly in zone coverage, he can run either scheme, whatever you want to do for a certain play. But it adds another wrinkle to his cornerback room that, in my opinion, is already pretty deep. I don't think the corners were the worst issue on this defense. I think the worst issue on this defense was their safety play overall. I mean, they were getting burned in the Super Bowl and in the playoffs. So Zy Alexander can come out, cap off cornerback number 2, and then worry about safety in other ways. But Zy Alexander, great size, great frame, great ball hawking corner. I really like him coming to this team. Then at number 212, grabbing Cameron Jackson from Florida. Cam, run defending D tackle. He is currently a 3-4 defensive tackle, so I think the switch to 4-3 for him specifically might take some time. He is just a one-trick pony as a run defender at 6'6", 342. He's not as athletic. He's not as athletic as you would want him to be, but he's just a really good run defender. So if he can make that switch to 4-3, I think there is a role for him in this defense in the future. Then at number 256, I'm going to grab Raheem Sanders. He's my Samaje Perine replacement. He had 675 yards after contact. He's not a home run hitter like others in this class. He's just a solid dude who can get to the first down. See more as a goal line guy, or as a red zone runner. I think he's really good. I think he's a pretty solid running back. He doesn't have the best field vision, but it is workable. I think he's a pretty good receiving running back as well. Good pass blocker. I'm willing to have Raheem Sanders on the roster as a Samaje Perine replacement, and with Kareem Hunt walking as well. I think Raheem Sanders can walk into that role as running back number 2 behind Isaiah Pacheco. So that is even my mock draft and my mock offseason for the Kansas City Chiefs. Nothing too crazy. You mostly are re-signing your own guys, adding some starters around the defense and offensive line, and in the draft, making big moves for the future. So if you guys enjoy, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know down. Let me know down in the comments down below what you would grade this offseason plan for the Kansas City Chiefs. And I'll see you guys next time in the last video with the Philadelphia Eagles here coming up soon. Oh man, one video away from being done with the series. It's kind of crazy. An entire month, every day we're posting a video. Oh, it's been exhausting. But let's get real happy that's coming to an end. And free agency's opening up. Then the mock draft season's gonna be here. I'm so excited. I'll see you guys later. Peace and bye.